Alright, today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite subject and give you the inside scoop on poop. So today we're going to go through our Humanure compost system. So it all starts in the bathrooms. We use a special little wooden toilet. You can just Google search compost toilet with bucket and you get 1,000 different designs. But ultimately what it is a 5-gallon bucket inside of something that kind of looks like a toilet with a toilet seat on it. And what we're doing is we're using the bucket. When you put the bucket in, you put a little bit of wood chips or shavings or whatever, sawdust, whatever carbon material you're using, put a little bit on the bottom to prime the bucket, and that allows it so no poop sticks on the bottom of the bucket. And then every time you go to the bathroom, you just cover it up a little bit, and then eventually the bucket is full. And then the question is, what do you do with that bucket? And that's where we come out here to our compost system. So this is our Humanure compost system. Right now we're running a 2-bin system because of how many people are here, and this just works for us. So this bin is actually complete. So 8 months ago this was our poop, and now it is this beautiful material to put on the gardens. We have really high mycorrhizal fungi content in these bins. Just happens the way that we do it. And now this one is the one we're currently using, and there is no mistake or no accident about exactly how this is put together. These are a specific size and a specific way. If you want more details on why we do it exactly like this and the temperatures you need to reach and all that stuff, the Humanure handbook is a little book. It's great. That's where we learned a lot of this stuff, and it's the science behind the breaking down of the microbes and the bacteria within the manure in order to make it safe so that we can handle it like this and put it on our food. So this one in particular here, what we build is roughly 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. So we're building a 1 meter cube, or for all of you Americans out there, it's roughly 3 1/3 foot, or say a yard by a yard, you can do it. What we use is just this concrete mesh rebar. It just works really well for us. The squares are too big and would allow material to come out. So what we're trying to do actually is hold the material in, but allow airflow to come into the material, but no material to come out. So this is why on the outside what we do is we line this with what we use is grass. So we just have lots of grass down here. We're in the subtropics, so all year round we have lots of fresh grass. So that's what we would use to be able to line the outside of it. And I'll show you in here in a second how we make a hole in the middle, put the material in the middle, and then the outside is always this green grass, so that our poop is not on the outside, because our manure is not anywhere out here. It's inside this nice little basket of grass. That lets the air come through, and that allows the compost to break down. So we do not mix this, we do not turn this, we do not do anything with it. We just leave it there and let it sit. It does its own thing. So we'll go ahead and open this one up. It's the rainy season right now, so we put a lid on it. Just lots of rain will cool the compost down, and we want to make sure it's nice and hot while it's cooking. We actually get it up to specific temperatures, so you can get yourself one of these. They're just cheap little compost thermometer. So we'll stick that in the pile, and we usually have that about 110 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's about what it cooks at for the cooking layer. Down here at the bottom will be a little cooler. Then we've got our cooking layer, and then we've got where we're adding material on top. Now in the Humanure handbook, it'll show exactly how long you want to cook at different temperatures. So if it's a hotter cook and it's a higher temperature, you can actually leave it for less time. You doesn't have to maintain that heat for that long to be as long. If it's cooler, you need to maintain that temperature for longer to be able to break down and fully disinfect the material that's in there. So what we have here is, this is from the previous time, so we're always covering on the top with the green material again, that way we get no smell. So our house is literally 10 meters over there, and we don't smell this at all. So this does not smell like human manure. You know, cameraman here can say the same thing. It just doesn't, there's no smell whatsoever to this. So what we're doing now is we're just pulling back the material. So this is the green material, and underneath here is the actual compost. So you see we just push it off to the side like this, and this is a very specific way that we do fill this up and move the material around. So we're pushing this material off to the side, and this material is now going to block any of the inside material from falling out. Then what we're going to do is dig a hole. So we're actually digging in to the material, pushing it off to the sides, and we're going to make a nice little hole in the middle here, and that's where we'll put our fresh bucket. So even when we do this, we can feel the heat coming off of it. So you take your bucket, just put it in the hole. Rinse your bucket however you want to rinse your bucket. We've done different systems depending where we're at. Here we just give them a quick rinse and put them back in the bathroom. When I was in Canada, so we did the same system in Southern Ontario, so you can do this in cold weather as well, and that bucket's ready to go reuse. You can rinse it with disinfectant if you want, do whatever you need to do. And then we're just going to cover this material up with a little bit of the old stuff, like so, and we'll put fresh grass on top. And that's it. That's how we deal with our poop here. This pile here, it lasts us about 6 months until it's full, in which case we go to the other side. So we're emptying this one now. So once this one's full, we'll then start refilling this one once it's empty. And it's about a 6 month back and forth. We're in the subtropics, so about a 6 month cook from when we're done with the material. So the last bucket we put on here, we want about 6 months afterwards. When we were in the north, up in Canada, we would actually use a 12-month period because part of that year is winter, so the compost is just not breaking down as quickly during that time. There's lots of different bucket systems. My favorite one that we use in Canada, so in Canada and the US and in Europe, you can get these Gamma Seal lids and use them for food storage and food prep. It just goes on top of a 5-gallon bucket, has a lid that twists on. We used to have a 12-bucket system. We're a family of 6, it worked amazing. So we would just fill up a bucket with wood shavings, bring it in, dump it into our wood shaving bin, put the bucket in, use the bucket. Once the bucket's full, put that Gamma lid back on, that seals everything in it, set that one aside, put in a new one. Now you're not emptying it every day. 12 buckets would last us roughly 2 weeks as a family, so every other Sunday I would go out into our greenhouse, because in the winter it's great to have something like this inside the greenhouse if you're in the north or in a cold climate. And then I would just do all 12 buckets, clean them, rinse them all, reset them all with wood shavings, bring them back into our mud room, and now we're good to go for another 2 weeks. Makes it very easy, very simple, and it's actually not really a lot of work overall. And then at the end of the day too is every year, family of 6, we get roughly 2 cubic yards or 2 cubic meters of amazing compost material for our gardens. And there's huge benefits in using your own manure. We can go into that in another video if you want, about how plants can sense what you need and don't need through your poop, and they change themselves to adjust to you. But yeah, and that's the general gist. If you have any other questions or want more details on any part of what we talked about, just comment below and we can do a more detailed video about that part for you. But that's the general overall gist of how we do our Humanure. And again, we're a family of 6 with 4 little kids. We've been doing this now for 3.5, 4 years. And we love this system. It's the best system we found with the buckets and the compost. So